O, nakauwi na mga kababayan yung ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos mula sa kanyang state visit po sa Brunei Darussalam, saka sa kanyang pagsasalita sa Shangri-La Forum. Napanood mo niya, Mr. Maravillas, yung mga matatapang na binitawang pananalita ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Siyempre po, sabi ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, pag may namatayan niya dyan sa West Philippine Sea na isang Filipino, it will be an act of war. Yan ang totoong leader na maisog, mga kababayan. Pbbm, killing a Filipino in WPS, an act of war. At sabi niya, we will fight for Philippine sovereignty to the last square millimeter. Hindi po pasisinda kay Xi Jinping ang ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Hindi katulad ni Mao Diggs. Pinagsabihan lang ni Xi Jinping, mga kababayan, will be anya in trouble. Ayun. Bumag yung buntot, mga kababayan. Naging spokesman na ni Xi Jinping, si Mao Diggs. Siya na yung nananakot sa mga mamamayang Pilipino. Yung ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos po, pinagsabihan yung isang Chinese general, Sinupalpal po. Ayan po, mga kababayan, nagtanong siya doon sa open forum na. Sabi dito, Marcos tells Chinese general, South China Sea peace, a world issue. Kini-question, mga kababayan, ng Chinese general yung posisyon ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Kasi sinisira mo niya yung ASEAN centrality. Ang ibig niyang sabihin, mga kababayan, wag dapat nangingialam sa atin dito sa Asia yung mga Western powers. Sabi ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, half anya ng ng kalakal dumadaan dito sa West Philippine Sea. It is a world issue. Basag po yung Chinese general. Iparinig ko sa inyo, mga kababayan, mamaya. But before ko na ibigay sa inyo yung full story, click subscribe muna dito sa ating YouTube channel and hit the notification bell para lagi po kayong updated sa mga kaganapan dito sa ating bansa. Like and share na rin po ninyo ng ating video. At huwag na rin po ninyo na skip yung ating mga commercial ads para tuloy-tuloy lang ang pag-unlad ng Bagong Pilipinas. Sa mga naghanap ng malinis and spacious fitness gym, pumunta lang po kayo sa aming Colossal Fitness Gym. We also offer Grab Car Rental with our brand new 2023 model ng Toyota Innova. We also accept booking for those who are planning to travel via PAL, Cebu Pacific, and other airline companies, local and international. And bills payment for Meralco Bills, PLDT, etc. Ang Colossal Fitness Gym is located at 3rd floor Security Bank Building, Lanco Business Park, Legazpi City, Albay. For inquiries, look for Chilon Maravillas, contact number 0966-802-0949. Yan po yung aming Innova. Lagi na pong matao sa amin. Yan, mga bago naming clients po. Napakaganda at colorful po ng aming gym. Napakalinis. Pati mga foreigners po dumadayo sa amin. Mga British tourists po sila. Nag-workout sa gym namin po. Na-set up na rin yung aming mga brand new gym equipments. May treadmill na rin po kami. Ito naman po yung bago naming product na binibenta online. iGlow Serum. Gawa po sa South Korea. Whitening po siya. Tingnan ninyo yung epekto sa aking anak na architect and entrepreneur. Yung mga inquiries ninyo, dumiretso na lang kayo sa kanyang messenger, Riz Maravillas on FB. Ito naman po, Firmax Firming and Lifting Cream. Pinapahid po ito sa mga pulses and affected area. Mainam po ito sa paninigas na mga kaso-kasuan, pati sa mga pains. Ito naman po, Automax Radiant Serum. Sa mukha naman yung application. Anti-aging po siya. You will look 10 years younger than your age. Sa mga cancer patients naman po, baka lang gusto ninyo itong itry. Nengi siya red mixed fruit drink. Hindi man po siya gamot, food supplement siya. Kaya lang gawa siya, mga kababayan, sa goji berry. Yung goji berry may anti-cancer properties. O yung mga inquiries ninyo, dumiretso na lang kayo sa aming messenger sa Facebook para masagot namin agad. Ayos pa? Ayos na ayos niya, Mr. Maravillas. So balikan natin yung ating kwento. So yan po yung Chinese general na sinupalpal ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Pakinggan natin po yung kanyang sinasabi.
I noticed in your speech you mentioned many times about ASEAN centrality. You review the TAC, which your father signed, that show the bond of ASEAN. I think the ASEAN centrality is very important, but it's not, we cannot take it for granted. It comes actually, comes from the ASEAN way, three principles. First, mutual respect. Second, consensus building. Third, considerate other parties' comfort level. In my words, to put it simply, we can summarize it as three no's: non-intervention, and no use of force, and no hyping up hot spots. Only because of these principles strictly followed by ASEAN members and other stakeholders that we have ensured the ASEAN and East Asia at large for a long-lasting peace since the end of the colonial rules in history. So we cherish a lot. I fully agree with you. I support the centrality of ASEAN. And even some professor like Cashion McBonney, he suggests ASEAN is deserved to award the Nobel Peace Prize. I agree with him.
Thank you very much. I think your question is, do you agree with me? So President Marcos,
Yes,
please.
my
Thank you
question
very much.
is, President, in the eyes of the international community, some of your Philippines behavior in recent times, it now sounds like you really consider other parties' comfort level, and there is a risk of ruining the regional long-earned, long-lasting peace since the end of the, colonial history. What's your comments on that? Thank you very much.
Well, I cannot imagine what you must be referring to if the reference or the allusion is to the Philippines somehow tearing apart what we have agreed on with in ASEAN in terms of ASEAN centrality. Quite the contrary. I think if you examine more closely the remarks that I just made, I precisely focus on ASEAN centrality, and that the principles that are laid down that are involved in the concept of ASEAN centrality are some things that we must use to guide us. And if we have been distracted in the past years or so, then it's time for us to return and remember once again what ASEAN was created for. And that is to create an aggregation of nations that have very many common interests, and that can be, and that partnerships within that multilateral organization can help each other and help the region. And so the Philippines is still remains true to the principles that were established and upon which ASEAN was born. And I think, as I said, that many of these things we no longer speak of today, but we must, because they are as relevant today as they ever were, perhaps even more so, because the global situation is a great deal more complicated than it used to be before. I would even go far as to say there is no such thing as a regional issue any longer. We have all experienced the unexpected effects of the war in Ukraine, of the conflict in the Middle East, and all of these. And when we talk about the South China Sea, we have to also remember that the South China Sea is the passageway for half of the world trade. And therefore, the peace and stability of the South China Sea and the freedom of navigation of the South China Sea is a world issue. And that is what I am proposing. And I am saying that yes, it is a regional issue, but we must examine and be part of the discussion. We must include all parties in that discussion, because now it is not just ASEAN member states who are stakeholders, and it is quite easy to see that it is in fact the entire world.
So ayun, nasupalpal mga kababayan ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Kasi ang pinupunto po nitong Chinese general, yung tatay mo niya, referring to former President Ferdinand Edralin Marcos, original signatory. Pumirma dito sa... Sila yung nagsimula nitong ASEAN. Kaya pinupunto niya itong ASEAN centrality. Na ang ibig niyang sabihin mga kababayan, di man dapat nangingialam yung mga hindi Asians. Yung Western powers, ang tinutumbok po ng Chinese general, yung Amerika, siyempre. So, lumalabas, anya na parang inabando na ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos yung pinakang espiritu ng ASEAN centrality. Kaya sabi ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, hindi anya, walang ganon. Yan po, ulitin natin yung sinabi, paliwanag ng ating Pangulo.
And the freedom of navigation in the South China Sea is a world issue. And that is what I am proposing. I am saying that this is yes, it is a regional issue, but we must examine and be part of the discussion. We must include all parties in that discussion, because now it is not just ASEAN member states or stakeholders, and it is quite easy to see that it is in fact the entire world.
Malinawan niya na while it is a regional issue, it is a world issue as well. It is the concern niya ng buong mundo. It is a world issue kasi half ng kalakal, dumadaan na niya diyan, hindi pwedeng mangialam yung ibang mga bansa, the Western powers. So, plak mga kababayan yung Chinese general. Yun kasi yung posisyon ni Xi Jinping. Ayaw nila mga kababayan na may mangialam na iba. Para kaya-kayanin lang po tayo, naninindigan yung ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Hindi niya bilateral, multilateral engagement. Yun ang posisyon. Para hindi tayo po agrabyado. Hindi tayo po kamutihin, madaling sabi. Bakit niya Mr. Maravillas? Ano yung sinasabi nung Chinese general na ASEAN centrality? Sinerge ko po kung ano yung kaulugan niya. Ito po siya. Sabi diyan, ASEAN leadership is needed to respond the current world situation, especially in political and security fields, with the emergence of the Russo-Ukrainian war, the South China Sea tension, in the crisis in Myanmar. ASEAN needs to manage the issues properly to encourage and enhance cooperation and peace in the region. Article 1.15 of the ASEAN Charter clearly states the ASEAN's main objective is to maintain ASEAN centrality and a proactive role as the main driving force for its relation in cooperation with external partners in an open, transparent, and inclusive regional architecture. ASEAN centrality should emphasize on a self-centered system development. The ASEAN centrality concept, as stated in ASEAN Outlook on the Indo-Pacific, broadly emphasizes that ASEAN must become the dominant regional platform to overcome common challenges and engage with external powers. Yon ang pinupunto ng Chinese general na dapat tayo-tayo lang dito sa ASEAN. Walang interference. So, pinapalabas, mga kababayan ng Chinese general, sinisira ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos yung konsepto na mismong yung tatay ng ating Pangulo, signatory noon pang panahon. Sabi ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, ito ang yung issue sa West Philippine Sea. While it is an issue of the region, it is a world issue kasi dumadaan dito, half of the world trade dumadaan dito. Black na yung Chinese general po. Hindi umobra yung kanyang yung angas. At sa pagtatanong pa mga kababayan sa open forum po, in-emphasize ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos kasi may nagtanong kung kailan mangyayari yung pag-invoke ng Mutual Defense Treaty pag may namatayan niyang Pinoy. It will be an act of war. Ayan po. Kasi sabi ng ating Pangulo, we will fight for the Philippine sovereignty to the last square millimeter. Di ba, mga kababayan? O ito po yung nagtanong.
Chinese Coast Guard water cannons killed a Filipino sailor. Would that cross a red line? And then can you also give us a sense of what are the actions that would trigger a request from Manila to Washington to invoke the U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty. Thank you.
And I will ask as the last question, Justin Bakisal. If you could stand, I know you sought the floor from ASEAN, so please go ahead.
Magandang gabi, Mr. President. Good evening.
Dalawa
Mr.
yung question
President.
po.
My question relates to your vision for the force posture of the
So,
Philippines.
dalawang question po.
So the Philippines has always discussed that the defense of our national territory is primarily our responsibility under the unilateral defense plan. So what specific force packages are you eyeing particularly in the next coming years, and what exactly are we to expect after Horizon 3 of the AFP modernization program?
Thank you. What the gentleman is referring to, the Horizon 3 acquisition program, is the acquisition program that our Department of National Defense has just completed. Then we are presently in the process of finding suppliers for all the different requirements that we have to build up our capabilities in the armed forces of the Philippines, and that we are hoping that these acts are just a deterrence. As they say, to work for peace, prepare for war, and it is an unfortunate truth. But and that is why we have undertaken this long-term. It has been going on for many years now. This long-term plan of increasing the capabilities of our military and our civilians, such as the Coast Guard in the Philippines. To go back to the first question, what would happen if
Ito na po.
there was an incident that ended up killing a Filipino serviceman?
Pag may namatay po.
A Coast Guard or in the military and part of the Navy. Well, that would be that would certainly increase the level of response, and if by a willful act on
Pag sinadya
a
po.
Filipino, not only serviceman, but even a Filipino citizen, if a Filipino citizen is killed by a willful act, that is, I think, very, very close to what we define as an act of war, and therefore we will respond accordingly. And our treaty partners, I believe, also hold that same standard for when the actions, with the joint action, will be undertaken in support of any such incident in the Philippines. Once we already have suffered injury, but thank God we have not yet gotten to the point where any of our participants, civilian or otherwise, have been killed. But once
May injury na,
that point,
kaya lang wala pang wala pa niyang namamatay.
certainly cross the Rubicon. Is that a red line? Almost certainly it's going to be a red line.
That is the red line na niya.
Mr. President,
Malinaw na si Jinping. Dapat malinaw niya yun sa inyo, mga bully dito sa West Philippine Sea. Huwag susobra po, kasi may hangganan ng ating pasensya siyempre. Alangan man na pinagpapatay na ninyo yung aming mga kababayan, matutulog lang po kami sa ilalim ng kulambo. Walang ganun po. Hindi ganyan yung ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Hindi po kami pasisindak sa inyo. Malinaw ang mensahe ng ating matapang na Pangulong Bongbong. Ayan man lang po mga kababayan. Ako po si Dante Maravillas. Bye-bye. God bless.